Irene Mayaka, you have another chance in the academy. You can go and take your seat. Shamala, you talked about a lot of laws. You have a chance to change the nation, but you're listening more to what is written than more to the voice of your people. You need to put your things in point form so that you speak to us. And for that reason, Shamala, we felt that we will give you another chance in the outside world to continue learning all these aspects. But in the academy, we just want to congratulate you for coming this far. Ladies, I think so far, when I look at all the faces in the house, I see I'm as president.
And now, a quick look at the contestants still in the academy. And the contestants are competing at an individual level. Now, let's meet our esteemed judges for this episode.
I'm Dr. Zipporah Okoth. I'm a lecturer of film and theatre arts at Kenyatta University. I'm also the founder of the Lake International Pan-African Film Festival. I'm a gender consultant and a performing artist. I'm looking for people who are informed, presentable, firm, and have a purpose.
Hi, I'm Jerry Kirene. I work in the policy environment, helping various small groups lobby for better laws for business. I'm a tough judge. I'm no nonsense. The minute you come before me, you better know your stuff. If you don't, well, you can only expect a challenge.
My name is Michael Onyango, and I work within the field of ICT and also communications and public policy. And I want to ensure that the person that ends up being Miss President will be able to galvanize and take charge of the best human resource that we have. As a country, we are playing at the global level. So keep it locked.
Tonight we continue the journey with yet another exciting topic of discussion on a matter critical to effective performance of Miss President in office: the environment and biodiversity. Biodiversity is the most complex and vital feature of our planet. It is essentially every living thing and ecosystem that makes up the environment, from the tallest giraffe to the smallest microorganism. Everything plays an important role in the maintenance of our world. Now, thinking green means being aware of our interconnectedness with the world and reflecting on the unintended damage we cause nature in the daily course of our lives. How should the president assist Kenyans in thinking green? What should be done in taking corrective action to make environmental responsibility a reality? Ebu kumbuka, every person is the right person to act. But before we start talking about thinking green, ebu nikulize hii swali tena, njomu kulia tu kila wakati. Hii Kenya iko ready for a female president wewe? In the next series of episodes, the tasks get more complex, and a lot of thought and consideration must be given before the eliminations. Now, each episode, the last kitu kama 2 days hivi. Ya kwanza ni training, a possible site visit. Day 2, presentations, nominations, halafu eliminations. Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Together, let us follow each stage of this competition and watch these very capable women try to convince the judges and you at home, myself included, why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. The gears have shifted, the terrain imekuwa ngumu sana, and you can feel the tension, the nerves, but also the quick comebacks, wit, and resilience of each one of our contestants as they continue on this path to leadership. Sasa, the topic of pollution is most talked about in the world today and is one of the primary causes of many of the other environmental concerns, including climate change and biodiversity. All 7 key types of pollution: air, water, soil, noise, radioactive, light, and thermal are affecting our environment. So our trainer tonight is one of the most respected green people in the world. Though he has come to train our contestants today wearing a blue suit. Bana, a blue suit, bana.
My name is Dr Kalua. I'm an entrepreneur and an environmentalist. Today, I look forward to deal with environmental challenges that are faced in this country and in the region of Africa. The subject of environmental conservation and matters of climate change is a very complex subject in the eyes of many people. Today, we look forward to simplify and bring it down to the communities and create entrepreneurship, but above all, bring out the leadership role that is required to make things happen for posterity of this nation.
Let's give him a round of applause, Dr. Kalua. Karibu. Oh, that's it.
I'm so proud to be with you today, and you're looking so nice.
Thank you.
I must say that. And I will take us through a process before getting us to understand what you people are getting into. Having founded the Green Africa Foundation, and I will take you through what green means in a short while, I have come to appreciate in a time that we are in today in the world, there's a lot of manipulation of things. Manipulation in leadership. You find people are doing things in a different way that they should not have done. You find people are manipulated in the way they think. Small things can make people think differently. But I'll share some figures for you, and I want you to treasure these figures. 4.2 million deaths every year happen as a result of exposure of ambient outdoor air pollution. What are some of the causes that lead us to this?
One of the causes is the toxic air that we get from combustion in vehicles. And there are vehicles all over in Nairobi. You are stuck in traffic for hours and you're breathing it in.
Yes.
And also from factories.
So one of the things that comes through agriculture is the manures that you use and the pesticides.
Yes.
So if you look at the emission that comes from the pesticide especially, there is also emission of carbon monoxide. There's fluorocarbons that come into the environment.
Back at home, we don't recycle plastics, so we opt to ban everything around us. We ban plastic bottles, we ban our towels, the lady towels at the end of the month. We ban everything. So the environment around us is always having these toxic elements around us. Yeah.
Another figure, 3.8 million deaths every year as a result of household exposure to smoke from dirty cook stoves and fuels. I want you to give me causes of death, indoor pollution, and together with one sentence, a response to how you can deal with it.
Some of the households in the rural areas, they are manyatas.
Yes.
So these manyatas, they are made with no windows. It is only a door. And their source of energy for cooking is only firewood. In due time, their eyesight becomes poor, and very soon they get respiratory issues. So the solution for this is, number one, to make the manyatas have windows, and if possible, to cook on the outdoor and not in the indoor. Thank you.
If I was in Japan, I would say, tat it!
Where I come from, that's Garissa, we use jikos. So when we want to light that charcoal, you look for anything. You either use kerosene. Often we use mattresses. So you cut mattresses and then you light the jiko using the mattress. And the emission is dark smoke. That's carbon monoxide. So if you inhale often, you might either start sneezing, coughing, and most of the times the death-related issues caused by that dark smoke. And the solution would be energy-saving jikos, which is being adopted by most communities now that makaa is being banned.
And I want Carol to tell us, what do you hear us saying, and what are you going to do as Madam President to make sure that this is not just talk?
Conversations of change regarding our environment must start from the grassroots. Communities must take charge of the change they want to see in terms of the environment, in terms of their health.
These are some of the issues in the environment sector. And I now want us to take ourselves to the next level. Green has 3 meanings. First one is treating people kindly. This is about good ethics. This is about training on life skills. This is about values. That's the first green. If we were kind to each other as a nation, as a people, as a continent, the things we are doing, we would never do them. If we had good ethics, we would never have issues of corruption in our country. So this is the first green. The second green is working towards good health, peace within communities, and creating sustainable livelihoods. If we are very careful about the health of our people, our own health, issues of cancer would not be the way they are, because we would not deal with issues and mess up the environment or do things that would mess us up. The third green is what people imagine every day. It's the passionate environmental conservation. Because we know the solution of a passionate environmental conservation. We would never have lack of water. We would never have issues that we are having, all the calamities and disasters that we have talked about. I have a suggestion for you to turn you as green leaders so that you have 3 service avenues that you can use as Madam President. The first one is to use learning institutions. Learning institutions. Where you are home, you are a learning center of excellence. The second one, Madam Nerea, Madam President, is using faith-based institutions as Madam President. Using that, you will reach the other cadre of leaders, the other cadre of Kenyans, where you can find them every single time or every single week. The third one is using sports and music. How do you do that? So those 3 service avenues. And I now want to take you now into the most practical point.
For today's field trip, the contestants will visit KEFRI, the Kenya Forest Research Institute, whose main mandate is to undertake research in forestry and allied natural resources.
Welcome to Kenya Forestry Seed Center. This is a center of excellence in tree seed. The reason why we established this center is that because people could come looking for seeds, but there was nowhere to get seeds from. Currently, most of the seeds is from our own sources. Here we have our seed stores. Seeds are dried to low moisture. Then they should be kept under low temperatures. We have our cold rooms, like where you are is cold room A. This cold room A is at +10. So we have seeds which we are now selling to customers.
Inside.
Yes, I want you to open and have a look. This is a seed bank.
before we store or distribute, it has to come through the quality control. And in this lab, we carry out that quality test for all the seed that is collected from all over that we have been told.
For seeds to germinate, they require the moisture and warmth. So we germinate them here. So once they are transferred in those potting bags, then they are watered and monitored very closely until they attain the height of like 1 foot. This is now ready for planting in the field.
This is the most expensive lab in Kefri, and some of the equipment we have here, they are not found in any other place.
The DNA extraction is a method where you use chemicals to actually grind down the leaf sample or any sample from a plant and then come up with DNA itself. DNA is actually some information, genetic information inscribed into some cells.
Carefully, we develop technologies. We have a program called Forest Productivity and Improvement. At the Forest Productivity and Improvement, we are looking at how we can enhance the production per unit of a forest.
My interest is in the area of the bamboo tree, because I'm just thinking, as one of the leaders from the community, I'd like to go and push for this agenda to have the bamboo tree being grown around the 11 rivers in Nyamira County. So what are the specific benefits of this particular tree?
Bamboo has so many products. Bamboo has it can be used even for textile industry. It can be used for even as food, by the way. Bamboo shoots, yeah, it can be used. It's very strong timber, and even for biomass production. And so we need to come up and enhance the issues of bamboo planting.
How is a research institute working towards ensuring that we have capacity to map out how, like, our fire forests behaviors to prevent occurrences?
And fire preparedness is a question of also making sure that we have fire breaks to avoid the spread of fire. We also have to be prepared in terms of intervention for fighting fire. I know we have one of our scientists within this region who is working on issues of fire management, and he is trying to come up with a fire preparedness strategy, and they will work together on that.
Environment is not just the trees and the soil and all these buildings that we see. Environment has a lot to do with testing our values, you know, as a people, connecting the dots, telling yourself that if I cut this tree, what is the ramification? You know, if I smoke in my house and everyone else is there, what is the ramification?
We have a campaign in my village called Operation Greenland. We were able to plant about 1,000 trees for now. They are growing. We have also been able to plant fruit trees in every home. And so for me, it really touched on what I am doing at home, and it gave me encouragement that I should continue to do that.
Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Together, let us follow each stage of this competition and watch these very capable women try to convince the judges and you at home, myself included, why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. quick summary of today's training. Moving from plan to action. How to make Mwananchi understand these issues. Create environment-friendly businesses that can be activated at the grassroots level.
And what we are going to create now are called the Green Africa Villages, where you find demonstrative action at the grassroots level, practical action, where money can be put on the table for food. And I want to take us through the first one, which is tree production. We are going to list them first. The second one will be water harvesting.
A list of 10 examples that give us a visual understanding of a green African village. Tree production, water harvesting, waste management, fish farming, animal husbandry, beekeeping, ecotourism, green mobility, renewable energy, and capacity building. Today's assignment: pick any 3 activities from the list above, giving the general idea, a budget, and the resources required to achieve this activity.
I'm looking at a president who is going to give me the whole country with Green Africa Villages, or Green Villages of Center.
We have come to the end of day 1. Each one of the contestants will have to come up with their own presentations and response to the assignment given. Day 2, and here we are. Remember, each assignment will be judged as a work of an individual, and I am so looking forward to seeing the presentations. Welcome back to Miss Present. Time now for presentations. Remember, contestants, you've got 5 minutes max. Let's be outstanding. Welcome, judges. Your Excellency Lynette Marvel, you're first.
I'm going to talk about 3 activities in environment that we can be able to use to generate some income for grassroots level. The first one is ecotourism, the second one is water harvesting, and the third one is tree planting. So if I may start with ecotourism, and specifically Ngangao Forest. So we can generate income from Ngangao Forest in the following ways. We're going to develop through partnerships a nature walk. We're going to have a research center. We're going to have seedling nurseries, and we're also going to have silk production in Ngangao Forest. The other thing is water harvesting, and this one I have in mind, water harvesting at ground level. So I'm going to educate farmers to be able to dig water pans so that they can be able to collect groundwater. This groundwater they can be able to use for irrigation. Apart from that, these water pans, they can plant bamboo, because we know bamboo is the in thing in Kenya right now. The marketing plan, specifically now for Ngangao, we're going to print out pictorials so that we develop manuals, and these manuals can be used in airlines. We're also going to do online marketing, and we're going to use open days and institutions. We're going to start villages through biogas, bamboo farming, and we're also going to do solar as alternative for households.
In considering the available opportunities in agribusiness, I consider tree production, ecotourism, but settled on capacity building of local communities. I seek to embark on the first ever animation of the National Museums of Kenya and KEFRI. The objectives of these environments will be to instill an environmental culture in our school-going children. Also, we shall offer meaningful educative entertainment as opposed to the likes of Sophia the First, Frozen, and Ben 10 cartoons. We shall inspire the young to take up similar careers in their career patterns and life. Lastly, the animations will build up on the new curriculum by incorporating animations as teaching aids. We want parents to have these animations on their phones as educative entertainment options for their children. It will be a welcome relief from the now infectious Baby Shark do-do-do-do song. We shall also be seeking audience with mainstream media houses so that our animations can be aired on their channels. It is time we honored our human resource workforce
for ourselves and our future generations.
As president, in the next 5 years, I want to impact every household by reducing air pollution by up to 20%. I plan to do this by repurposing used slippers and flip-flops in every house. And number 2, I want to cause reforestation and agribusiness for conservation by ensuring that we have capacity building. And number 3, I want to create jobs for women, youth, and the disabled through an ICT-enabled environment conservation system. To achieve this, I have firmed up a feasibility to be done in Kibiri ward of Homa Bay County. And I'm going to use an innovative approach which I have borrowed from the health sector by creating drop-in centers for the used rubber in all our churches and schools so that we can have efficiency in waste collection. I'm also going to integrate sports for youth by them participating in all county activities. And the critical marketing attraction for this approach is the hub and spoke model, where we are going to have a center of excellence in Homa Bay town, where we are going to have 3 technical specialists who work closely with KWS, with KEFRI, with the county government, and with the NEMA to ensure that our systems of implementation and uptake are up to standard.
Allow me to speak to you about environmental preservation with a focus on waste management, ecotourism, and fish farming. Now, the ethos of my presentation today is on a business idea that I call kiddie lead. Kiddie for kids, and lead is just lead. All right? So kiddie lead is a branding concept that uses materials that children use every single day, such as school bags, lunch boxes, books, juice bottles, pencil cases, etc. I will specifically restrict my conversation to kiddie lead school bags. Now, these would be eco-friendly school bags for pre-primary and lower primary school children made from recycled apparel waste and old clothes, and this would have messaging on them targeting children and adults. Rationale is that the current rucksacks are made of polyester, and this is not eco-friendly, and when they are banned, they increase the carbon footprints in the environment. The total budget needed would be 2 million. In a year, and marketing strategy would be a launch and also using children to advertise. The youth and the women will be engaged, by way of disseminating information and exchange visits.
I have chosen the ecotourism village, the first. The second is green furniture and green buildings, and the third is silk production village. So ecotourism is where the community can make profit while conserving the environment. This is where locals come together to harness their local resources, their financial resources to plan and manage their own ecotourism company. And then number 2 is green furniture and green buildings. This is where we build environment-friendly homes using bamboo trees and soil bricks. We build the capacity of the local environment to understand the demand and profit in bamboo farming. This is where, in partnership with the local existing vocational training institutes, using modern technology, the youth can learn how to create and design furniture and soil bricks without using cement. The third is the silk production village. This is whereby, in partnership with the Agricultural Institute, we build the professional capacity in silk production by certifying locals to become trainers in silk production.
I looked at tree production, solid waste management, and renewable energy. Tree production, I looked at sisal and focusing on fiber. Case study of Mr. Odundo, who's 30 years old from Nyanza, invented a machine that will process sisal and make sisal production easier. This is to encourage farmers to once again embrace sisal. Sisal locally is not marketable, but globally has a lot of attention. My work plan, I looked at a project called Bridging the Gap, empowering women and girls in northern Kenya through sisal. Pilot project would be in Garissa County to be implemented across the country. The implementers would be Kesho Alliance, Garissa University, and Green Africa Foundation. Objectives would be to protect and raise awareness on women rights in order to elevate women's status, impart women and girls with entrepreneurial skills for self-sustainers, to raise awareness on the role of women in conflict resolution. Throughout this project, we shall promote environmental conservation by making biodegradable bags. These bags will also have peace messages so that when discarded, can have a lot of peaceful messages across. Train women through TVETs to produce the bags, especially focusing on women in refugee camps by partnering with UN. And finally, empower women in the communities and train women who are already in agribusiness to offer consultation services to young farmers.
And I'll be using Nyamira County as a pilot for implementation of the following areas of interest in terms of agriculture, agribusiness opportunities, in specific tree production, specifically bamboo trees, fish farming by use of fish ponds, and capacity building. And I'll be talking about value addition of the avocado fruit, which is now known as the new cash crop of Kenya. Sale of the avocado oil used for beauty care and cooking oil, and production of briquettes from avocado peels mixed with sawdust. And I can confirm, having used the briquettes, that is more economically viable than the jikos, because you can use it to boil githeri, beans, your traditional vegetables, without keeping on topping up the briquettes. So I have planned my budget in terms of 3 specific areas. The first one being creating an awareness and capacity building, where I will involve the stakeholders, the church leaders, the MCAs, and the CECs. Training and capacity, I will use 2 specific women groups from West Mogirango area. They will be trained on simple bookkeeping, and each team will have a team leader who will be doing the bookkeeping on an online capacity level. In terms of marketing, we will use online to market these products. We will also help these ladies by ensuring that the market centers on market days are used for promoting this. And 3 ways of encouraging the women is that this will help them in terms of sustainable economic empowerment, educating their children, and there will be peer influence in the community.
So judges, I'm going to ask you to go and do your deliberations. It's getting shorter and shorter numbers in terms of numbers and tighter. So who's going and who's staying, we'll find out.
Yani somebody has just gotten a variation of different ideas from the internet.
We were to show how you're going to implement that. I didn't hear in our presentation. It's too theoretical.
She lacked the energy, with which to, present it. I thought her energy was low.
The ideas seemed a bit abstract, and the lack of costing, so it left me wondering, how is she going to implement?
But I felt that her presentation was a bit all over the place. It was not systematic.
She only talked about the normal things we know.
Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected, and they are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Together, let us follow each stage of this competition and watch these very capable women try to convince the judges and you at home, myself included, why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. So, is this the part of the race where the flag comes up and says final lap? We'll find out from the judges, and they're here. Just Judge Zippy, Judge Michael, good to see you back.
Thank you.
And Judge Jerry, let me start with you. Is this the part of the race where you've raised a flag?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm looking at the contestants now, and it appears that some have sort of slackened.
What would you say about their style, about their thinking, in terms of the ideas that they share today?
If you don't have your content to match your presentation, the two must go hand in hand. So, shortly you'll see when we'll decide who goes home. That will come up very, very clearly, and it will be related to content and presentation both put together.
The ones who are going to leave the academy, will they walk out of here and say yes?
Anyone who has been up to the level of top 10 in this competition should be able to believe that they are great leaders. Their going home does not mean they're any weak. It means that today they are the person bargained better than you did.
Oh.
Yeah.
So who did not bargain well today? We are about to find out. Stay with us.
We have come to that moment that will decide the fate of someone tonight. Who will stay? Who will be put on probation? Who will be going home?
Hello, ladies. You are the top 7. You are the cream of the competition. And for that reason, I want you all to believe that you have done your best this far, and it does not matter what happens from this moment on. On the bench is Judge Njeri on my left and Judge Michael on my right. I'll invite Judge Michael to call those who've been nominated for elimination.
I'd like to call Nerea Okech. Please come forward and take a seat. Lynette Marvel, please come forward and take a seat. And finally, Caroline Chega, please come forward and take a seat. Let me start off with Caroline, and of course, we're going to give you an opportunity to speak. You're given 3 areas which you're meant to pick from. So you went ahead and instead substituted and put in 2 areas which were actually not there. And then also, you didn't have your 1-year marketing plan, which you didn't present. I know it's been a very stressful night last night, but maybe you can just tell us what it is and what happened.
Personally, I saw that as an initiative because coming from a county where people are using various non-affordable ways to be able to build homes, I saw that creating green buildings that are environment friendly, where you use bamboo and other forms of environment. Yeah, that is why I did that one. So the second part is about my 1-year marketing plan. I mentioned about working with the county government, using social media platforms, and working with the Ministry of Tourism, but I did not. If you look at my work, I wrote my 1-year work plan was between June 2019 to June 2020.
You know, at this particular stage, it is so critical that as a leader, you will be put under lots of pressure, and there may be things that you may desire or want to pick up because you have some personal interest in it. But at times, you must cage yourself and limit yourself, not because what you want is wrong, but the time and the moment demands that this is it that we need to be looking at and we need to be approaching.
Thank you, Judge Michael. I'll allow Janjiri to proceed.
Let me please come forward. Now, from the comments you had even before in this assignment, it's unanimous, at least amongst those of us who are listening to your presentation, that you had too much that you're putting into your presentation. I don't know, why did you feel we needed to put in all this information?
Okay, thank you very much. As you've rightfully said, it is a passion, and I noticed that even during my presentation, I may have gone overboard, especially in explaining the Ngangao concept, and I take note of your comments, because I think that's what even barred me from going into the details of the budget.
But like we've told you many, many times, as a leader, when you just have a few minutes, just get to the point. And I looked at your budget, and I realized there's certain things you are giving 1 month, 2 months, 2 months. So for future, and as you go into the next time, you know you're going to make a presentation before somebody, a budget committee or whoever it is, always outline the potential risks. And if indeed they crystallize, then I will have said, yes, I expected that to happen. So it gives you leeway to adjust timelines. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nerea Mundi. Nerea, your work had a lot of strategies and implementation plans. But considering the assignment that you were given, it was not clear what concepts are you really trying to drive?
I picked solid waste management, then I picked reforestation in public, private, and faith-based schools, then I picked capacity building. So the one that I ran with as a business opportunity was solid waste management.
Okay.
Yes.
So generally your work, when you were speaking, is quite clear. We kind of like feel that you have all this idea in your mind. But when it comes to stating out all these things clearly and bringing out a point of focus, that is what's not coming out clearly. Because when you even look at your work plan and budget,
yes,
Nerea, with your vast experience,
yes,
the kind of work plan and budget that you gave us, yes, you had all these 6 months feasibility study and 3 locations before rollout. That's there. But then you know how clearly you can make a better work plan and a budget. And this seemed like it was just all over and too many things to be able to strategize with 406,000 shillings. And
Yes.
I was wondering, what exactly does Nerea want to do? We felt that this was too much, and it was almost feeling like Nerea is trying to scale down her budget so that we can see that she can afford to do this, but she wants to do so many things, yet even the assignment stated, just pick one. Like, yes, you wanted to do solid waste management, but in it you went and did even capacity building through the solid waste management strategies and all. And we felt that really took you all over the place to your disadvantage. Lynette Mavu, we felt that the topic you were discussing was quite exciting, and you're very passionate and focused about the topics that you keep picking at this point in time in the competition. But we would like you to look at the other issues in terms of budget. And one thing I'd like to encourage us, if you are not very good with budgets, work together in the house. It may not be to your disadvantage. It might be more to your advantage to be able to help each other where your weaknesses are. And that is what leaders are for. And for that reason, that we feel that you had more stronger points, we will allow you back into the house. You can go and sit. Nerea, we've listened to you. Yes, your opportunities were so many. You are excited about too many things. And yes, despite the fact that you love your county so much and you want to do so much, at every particular point of the presentations, it is very important that you focus your mind on one thing so that people are able to get your agenda. And then when you have the questions right, then give us those implementation points. Because we are getting like, yes, Nerea knows what she wants to do, but which one does she want the most? And that is what is lacking. So we want to believe that if we give you another chance, you are able to learn how to focus. And every time you have an agenda to push, pick one and push it to the core. For that reason, we'll give you another chance in the academy. Caroline Chege, your points are very good and are very important considering Kajiado County and the metropolitan kind of environment that it has become. People are constructing left, right, center. And we would like you to continue in that perspective, because one thing that I have noted is that you really love construction. I think in a lot of the presentations that you do, you talk a lot about construction and empowering the youth who are doing construction. However, at this point of the competition, we feel we will let you leave the academy. And it is specifically for one reason. It is the issue of time. Time has become of essence, and it is becoming an issue through every episode and through every task that you're given. And we wonder why. Why can't Caro just learn to reduce 1 minute of her day, or 1 minute of her speech, and 1 minute each time? And we feel that, are we making progress? Because the other parts, you're very good. You are very eloquent. When it comes to eloquence, you're very eloquent, you're very articulate, and when you speak, we feel that you're a leader and you understand the issues of your county very clearly. But the issue of time is what is making us feel that right now, at this point of the competition, we will allow you to go and serve the country at large. So also another thing is the group voted you the highest. You were nominated the highest to leave the academy. That one, for reasons best known to them, but for us it's an issue of time and it's not improving.
It takes a lot to be the president. To be honest, I'm ready for State House. I'm ready for, German Chancellery. I'm ready for anywhere like the world has to take me. I've been truly refined, and I wish all of you the best. God bless you, and I love all of you. Thank you.
After a busy and highly charged day at the academy, it's time to take a breather. For some, probation calls for a meeting with self in order to assess or change strategies so as to remain in the competition. For others, the tears and goodbyes to newfound friends will close the day.
Maze, when you're up on stage, timing ni muhimu maze. Beginning your speech at just the right moment as the applause dies down, giving the audience a moment to let an important idea sink in, particularly for shorter presentations. Timing ni muhimu. Lakini speakers wengi forget the most important aspect of timing, using the time you have been allocated effectively by going neither over nor significantly under time. Lessons learned for Caroline Chege, and I hope she will use her time wisely as she continues to battle for the people in her county. And who knows? 2022 is just around the corner. Time-wise. Skiza, thoughts, opinions, compliments, suggestions, tweet us on @media_focus. Find us on Facebook @MediaFocus on Africa. And check us on Instagram @MediaFocus on Africa. Do share your thoughts. Si upenda sana kusikia from maoni yenyu. Unapata? The generation that destroys the environment is not the generation that pays the price. That is the problem. Wagari Maathai, Kenyan environmental and political activist. See you next week.